Hey guys, before we hop into your video, I wanted to tell you guys about my new partnership with BetterHelp. If you haven't heard of it, it's an online resource in which you can find your very own friendly local neighborhood therapist, no matter where you are in the world. You sign up, and within 24 hours, they match you with a licensed therapist that's right for you. And you can talk to your counselor every week via phone or video chat, and you also have the opportunity to text them in between sessions. As most of you guys know, I am also a licensed professional as well as a mental health advocate, and sometimes in these readings, very in depth topics come up that are very intricately related to mental health, and it's for that reason that I offer this resource to you guys. And if you know anyone that can benefit from them, or if you yourself can benefit from them, I suggest you take advantage of them. The information to sign up will be in the description box below, but let's go ahead and get into your reading. Hello, water signs, Cancer, Pisces, and Scorpio, just in case you didn't know. Welcome to your February as above reading. I am Princess India. If you are new, if you are family, welcome back, my friend. So we're going to go ahead and jump into you guys' reading. First, I'm using the Work Your Light Oracle. The intention of this is to pull a card to shine light from your past experiences to your present doings and happenings and into your future. So let's go ahead and see what's going on there. Let me get one card for water signs, please, Spirit. Anything they need to know, anything about most importance, please, Spirit. One card. One card only. Whoa, or not. Or not. Let's get 3 cards for the 3 signs. And I'm doing them that way. Since there's 3 of you, I'll look at this 3 different ways, and I'll just go in order: Cancer, Pisces, and then Scorpio. But I'm still looking at them collectively, so if you want to, spread them out like that. But the first card we have is Mirror, who or what is triggering you. The next card that we have is what is no longer in alignment with who you truly are. And then lastly, we have Unbound, releasing soul patterns, contracts, and past lives. That's beautiful. Capricorn actually had this card. Ooh, this is very fascinating. Okay, so one thing I can tell you guys for sure, because this falls into your past influence, you guys are going to gain a lot of clarity this month into yourselves and your process. So putting this all together, what it's looking like for me, water signs, is whatever it is that's triggering you in a very literal sense, whether it's people or situations or circumstance, what have you, these are more or less symptoms of the deeper problem. And I'm saying problem, I don't necessarily mean that there's a problem per se. It's a symptom of something that's out of alignment. So it's not focusing so much on if you're triggered, right? Or feeling some type of way because you were like, oh gosh, I'm falling into old wounds. No, it's not that. It's more or less the why. So it is a provocation, if you will, to look deeper, right? The thing that we're looking at deeper is the things that specifically you find are no longer in alignment with you. Like what's no longer in alignment with your values, the perception that you have of yourself at this present time, or your absolute end goal, what it is that you are presently working towards. And it's extricating those things or coming out of alignment with those things, and or replacing those things with something that is more in alignment with you. And at the deeper root of that would be the soul patterns and contracts. And I feel for each of you that's different, because for Capricorn, I felt it heavily like, and I mean, it could be relevant for you all, like generational curses type of stuff, past life type of stuff. But, and I mean, it could be past life and this life, like literally meaning your past. But the whole thing is, and this is a theme that I feel is coming up with all signs really, is it's a sobering look in the mirror. And I feel like with the the retrograde coming up and that being a time that we're usually in a state of self-reflection, it's an ideal time for these things to be coming up. And Mercury goes retrograde on the 13th of this month, if I'm not mistaken. So this to me looks a lot like personal work, inner work that you, okay, that's way too many cards. There's no way. This looks a lot to me like personal work that you guys are going to be doing in the month of February, but the purpose or the intention of this personal work is to release you from mindsets and patterns of behavior or people, circumstances, situations, all of these things that have been holding you back up to this point. Because I feel that it's kind of like a dissension within oneself. But I feel that these are things that are slightly insidious, where they're kind of hiding in plain sight in a sense. And I touched on this with someone, I can't remember. I think this was Taurus, and they're extended, because your extendeds are each sign individually. But I think it was Taurus that I talked about this with, in speaking in reference to self-defeating behaviors. And it's kind of like one of those things. I think the example I used was like if you're saving for a house and but shopping makes you feel better. So whenever you get stressed out, you shop, but you haven't noticed that all this time you've been kind of digging into your savings, you know, every time you get stressed out or whatever. And that's a self-defeating behavior, because the money that you're spending on shopping is the money that you're supposed to use to purchase your home. So you're inadvertently holding yourself back, if that's making sense. So that's what I'm kind of seeing for you guys. It's more or less like shadow aspected things that have been kind of weighing you down, but they're things that have been hiding in plain sight. But I feel that they're going to be coming to the forefront for you all via triggers. And then for others of you, it's especially those of you who are doing the woke book. This would be something really important to take into account, is as you guys are going through, because a lot of people I've talked to so far, they're still doing, they're still in the first section of the book. So as you guys are doing your lifelines, so to speak, this is important things to look at, is looking at who or what is triggering you, what's specifically about that. And then when you look at the context of that trigger, like say hypothetically, it triggered you to get angry, or this triggered me to be depressed, right? It's looking at where you are now and where you're headed. Is this particular behavior or mindset that was brought up here, is it in service to you or is it not, right? Because triggers can be helpful in the fact that there's processes or feelings that we have that are going on inside of us. If we were not triggered, we would never know about that hidden feeling or perception, in so many words. But I mean, either way, I see this almost like a balancing act. It's like recalibrating in a sense. But the overall theme, and I would say that for the entire collective, even though this, you know, that card specifically came out also with Capricorn, I feel that energy for the whole collective, because I feel post retrograde, like once Mercury goes direct in March, I feel that all of us are going to be shifting forward in an epic way. Like everything that everyone was planning or desiring at the end of 2019, and kind of fit, and we talked about that in the collective reading for Aquarius season. It's like everything that you guys were desiring at the end of last year and that you may be feeling now is kind of on pause or not happening, or you're feeling a sense of resistance with it, is because all of those things are being kind of put on pause for you for good reason until March, because there's still some work that needs to be done, which are these things that I'm seeing here. I hope that makes sense, water signs. So let's go ahead and get into you guys' other cards. Whoa. First card out, your theme for the month, we have the Page of Cups. I love the Page of Cups. With the Page of Cups, I always see the Page of Cups as an idea or an inspiration, right? Like the first little inspiration or idea that you get, but you're not ready to act on it yet, right? Because I say every innovation, every invention that you see in the world today, whether it's an iPhone, you know, it's the woke book, it's, you know, anything, a camera, you know, whatever, a tarot deck, I mean, anything. Everything begins as an idea, right? Everything starts with the seed of an idea, and people take actions on those ideas, and that's how we get everything, right? So everything starts with an idea. Everything is a replication of a previous idea. And what I'm seeing with the theme for the month is I feel that you guys are going to be getting a great deal of inspiration, but I don't see this month as the month, whoa, what's going on? I don't see, whoa, that's what I'm talking about. Other card you guys have is the Wheel of Fortune. But I don't see this month as the month to act on these ideas, and especially with the retrograde coming up, that's not the ideal time you want to start something new anyway. So I'm really looking at the time that we're coming into in February as an incubation period, if you will. And with the Wheel of Fortune, the thing I'm seeing with that, that's my divine timing card. So it's more or less I love this. This is more or less explaining what I'm talking about, this whole pause period. It's like, it's frustrating, it's aggravating when you want to move forward, but it feels like everything's on hold until you understand why it is that things are on hold. So I feel like things are on hold for you guys for your highest good. And maybe up to this point, you weren't seeing that. Maybe a lot of you guys came into February feeling like more triggered than usual, or feeling like, you know, old wounds are coming up, or old feelings, or things that you thought that you were over, you know, but things come to the surface in order to be released. And then I'm even noticing with this card too, if you look at it, it's the, it's a full moon. So, I don't know where my surrender deck is right now, y'all. So these are all things you guys could be working with the, this is confirmation for me as well. You guys could be working to set intentions to release certain things under the full moon, and that is on the 9th of this month. There's a lot going on this month. And the reason why I say it's like this is confirmation for me, because all day today, I've been at my office most of the day today. I just literally made it back home. But I was looking at the days and I was like, holy mother. Because I was talking in the collective reading about the webinar that I wanted to do on the information that I found from 2018 about this full moon, which is slightly hilarious. But I was trying to figure out, I was like, oh my gosh, am I going to have enough time to do that? But looking at this, I feel like that would be of utmost importance, because talking about this full moon in Leo being about, and I totally jacked that from the Moonology deck. They are saying with the full moon in Leo to not allow pride to get in your way. And that could be interpreted in a myriad of different ways. We could literally be talking about, like, you know, lower mindsets, the ego, and, you know, pride and things of the sort. The webinar I'm talking about is about pride, but in the different manifestations of it. But I feel like this is important for that to kind of come up and me to be noticing this here. But even if that's in the realm of asking other people for help, like receiving help from other people. But I feel whatever the case may be, I don't really feel the need to go into specifics there, because I feel if you guys don't know already what it is that's holding you back, I feel that that's going to become very clear to you. And for some of you, it may just be, you know, 3 days before, 3 days after, or the actual day of the full moon. it'll be revealed to you what it is that's been holding you guys back and what needs to come into alignment in order for you guys to move forward. But whatever the case may be with the Wheel of Fortune, what it's saying to me is that everything that has not manifested for you guys up to this point, there, it's not a sense of punishment. It's no type of like, you know, bad juju or anything like that. It's just literally that there's a need, especially with this Page of Cups being here, there's a need for more work to be done, or for there to be some level of understanding further into this concept, or a level of maturation that needs to happen before you move forward. But the whole reason why things are on pause is because, you know, Spirit is trying to help you out in a way that you may not be able to see just yet. So know that the pause is not, you know, it's not anything negative. It's in your highest good. Oh, wow. Petty LaBelle. Okay. Next card that we have is the Five of Wands. I call that the Petty LaBelle card. And this is in your roadblocks. Are you being petty, water signs? What is going on in America? And then the last card in your possibilities position, we have the King of Wands. Here's the thing. With the Five of Wands, I feel like the thing that's blocking you guys is you're not standing in your power. Is ultimately where you guys are going to end up. How can I say this? Because I want to say it in a very specific way. I don't want to say it in an intangible kind of way. It's like the Page of Cups energy is very idealistic, right? It's like best case scenario, and you know, it's thinking on the light side of things, right? But this conflict with the Five of Wands, I don't necessarily feel this as in reference to you guys and someone else. I don't really feel that. I feel this is more or less an inner conflict in so many words. And I feel that this inner conflict speaks back to this aligning your life. It's like a dissension within self, like I was talking about over here. So actually, it may very well be that the thing that's going to be revealed to you guys this month, whether that's this month period, full moon, retrograde, what have you, I feel that it's more or less going to reveal to you guys in what ways it is that you've been holding yourself back, like the source of your inner conflict, right? Because with this idea that you guys have and not feeling ready to move forward on it, how can I say this? I feel this is the root of the issue, the inner conflict, the self-doubt. That is the root of the issue here, but I don't feel that it's being seen that way. And I said this with either Virgo or Taurus. I was saying that it's almost like projecting. It's like projecting, I think that was Taurus, projecting it on to other people as if it's the situation or the circumstance. Because I was saying, like, at a job, it's like, oh, you know, it's nepotism. You know, that's the reason why they're promoting these people. And it's not really that. It's really a self-defeating behavior. It's something that's going on inside of us. But again, I have to stress, this is not blame. This isn't saying like, oh, it's all your fault that your life isn't awesome yet. No, it's not that. Because again, with the Wheel of Fortune being here, all of this has happened for your highest good. And what it really is, guys, it's like everything in life, and that's what the Wheel of Fortune speaks to, everything in life happens in seasons, right? Even when it's speaking about our promotion, because that's what I feel it is with the Five of Wands and this King of Wands. Ultimately, if I were to just wrap this up and say, you know, the end of the story is that all of this stuff is happening to get you to align with this King of Wands energy. It's like to see yourself as this, you know, creative, resourceful powerhouse of a person, knowing that you're capable and you have the experience and the know-how to do whatever it is you guys are heading in the direction to do. But it's like, this is like house cleaning that I'm seeing with this Page of Cups and the Five of Wands. This is house cleaning that needs to happen, because if this isn't taken care of prior to you guys moving forward, you would inadvertently sabotage your own success. You know what I mean? So it's kind of, and it's making me think of Iyanla Van Zant. She wrote a book called Peace from Broken Pieces that came out maybe 4 or 5 years ago. It's a really great book. I love Ayanla. She is the bomb. But it's something that she said in that book that's coming up to me right now. And it's her life story. Like, she's talking about in the book when she had the opportunity, like Oprah gave her a deal for a show, right? And because she was like traveling, she was an author and she was doing speaking engagements and things of the sort. So Oprah came to her and offered her a contract to do a show, right? But then a major television network offered her a contract as well. And what she ended up doing was attempting to barter with Oprah, like I think to get more money or something like that, because the network had offered her, you know, X amount of dollars, and Oprah was offering her a different amount, and she was trying to barter with Oprah to get more, right? And she was pretty much saying, like, if, you know, Oprah wouldn't pay what the network was offering, that she was going to go with the network. And Oprah was like trying to explain to her like what the network was trying to do. Like, they were like kind of trying to take advantage of her success, and that she wouldn't have the creative control that she would have with, you know, her own network and stuff. And Ayanla ended up turning down the contract with Oprah and took the contract with the major network. And she ended up, you know, getting a talk show, but it wasn't in alignment with her. Like, they had her doing like, you know, cooking segments and, you know, things of the sort. And Ayanla, of course, is a spiritual teacher, and she's talking about like personal evolution and things of the sort. And it was kind of like, you know, a typical daytime talk show, and they wouldn't let her talk about the things that were reflective of her, right? And that's the energy that I'm seeing here. And how Ayanla explains it is she talks about that at that time, even though she was writing all of these books to help people, she still did not like herself. There were still parts of her that she was still battling. And she was saying it was that facet of herself who sabotaged her own success. So she ended up like getting the show, making $1 million, starting her school and stuff like that. And, you know, marrying the man of her dreams. And then like within a couple of years, she ended up filing bankruptcy, and she like lost everything. So she was saying how when we have parts of ourselves that are still unhealed, the parts of us that don't believe that we deserve success. So even though, and that's why I think she's a perfect example to tell a story such as that, because this is someone, when she was writing books years ago, like people revered her wisdom and things of the sort, but there were still things in her that were left unhealed, right? So her saying that it's possible to be successful, but if on a core level you feel you don't deserve it, it's like you will sabotage it. So it's like she was saying, looking back in hindsight, she sees that she sabotaged this relationship with Oprah because she really didn't feel that she deserved it. And she ended up settling for something that was far less than what it is that she really deserved, because the Oprah opportunity was more in alignment with her. And, you know, chose that led her to lose everything, because that's what she felt she deserved at that time, right? Not consciously, right? But that's like the whole thing I talk about, like with this mirror effect and stuff like that, how it's like the subconscious program that's running underneath everything. But, you know, long story short, of course, it's like she lost everything, but her and Oprah like made up, and now she has the whole Ayanla fix my life type of thing going on, you know? But that essence of that story is like what it is that I'm seeing for you guys. Not that that's going to happen to you, but that this is what that pause is for. The reason why you guys are on pause is not because spirit forgot about you, or not because, you know, you're being passed up, or, you're not qualified enough. It's the fact of you needing to see that and believe it wholeheartedly. And then there's things that are chains and bindings that need to be broken and need to be released, so that when you go forward, that it's not something that kind of comes up and ends up being like self-sabotaging or self-defeating, in so many words. Because I feel that's imperative, because I mean, it's better to, if you're ever going to self-sabotage, it's better to do it, when you're not where it is that you're going. You know what I mean? And I feel that Ayanla's story is a really great example of that. So that is something I would put on the reading list, guys. That is a really great book. I absolutely love that book. But that's what it is that I'm seeing here for you guys. I don't necessarily feel this conflict as with other people, but I can see how one could see that, or perceive that, of feeling that it's external circumstances that are preventing you from going or acting as roadblocks to where it is that you're trying to go. But I really feel it's an inner thing. And that's a theme that I've been seeing for all of the signs that I've done so far. But I feel rightfully so, because energetically, with this retrograde is a time of reflection. It's a time of us, looking at ourselves, looking back at decisions that we made, and so on and so forth, and kind of creating a game plan for when Mercury goes direct and we go forward. So it goes into this whole theme of what I say, with the woke book and everything. It's like going back to 2020. In order for us to go forward, we go backwards to go forwards, in so many words. So that's really what it is I'm seeing for you guys. So if there's anything that you guys have been meditating on or wanting to act on coming into this month, don't pressure yourself. It's like, really take time and make this month about you. Like, this feels very much like a self-care month to me. And trust and know that things are going forward for you. But there's a need to really look deeper to see in what areas you guys are, in what areas. I just feel so funny with saying this whole holding yourself back thing, because it's like, man, it's like how that feels in my spirit every time I say it. It's like it makes me cringe a little, because I don't want anyone to take that the wrong way, because I know how easily that can be taken out of context to be like, oh yeah, it's all my fault. And no, it's not that. It's like, I really want to stress here, guys, this is a major arcana card. Like, your process, all of this is being guided by spirit, and it's working for your highest good. So there's no need to stress and worry or fear or think like, well, what if I can't figure out what it is? Or what if I don't know what it is that's holding me back, in so many words, right? There's no need to stress about that, because I feel this is all being divinely guided. So there's no need to worry, because spirit wants your highest good to manifest as much as you do. You know what I mean? I hope that makes sense, y'all. I really hope that it does. I'm going to go ahead and throw the dice of resonance for you all. You can ask a yes or no question if you like. And then after this, I'm going to pull the cards for each signs extended. I hope that this makes sense, y'all. It just really feels for me that this is a very reflective month, but it's a divinely guided reflection. You know what I mean? And I really feel, and I hate to be exclusive like that, y'all, but it's like, I was trying not to make it sound so intangible, but those of you guys who have the woke book, this is more tangible than you probably could have ever fathomed. All right? Because it's like you have something you can physically touch and look at and really see over the course of time the things that you have skipped that have tripped you up later. Like the little 7 of swords in your life, so to speak, And then even with this page of cups, I love the fact that you guys can like do the book and the readings at the same time. I love that. But even with the page of cups, like this being an idea and an inspiration that you're not ready to act on, it's like whatever your king, like, because this is in your possibilities position, whatever your king of wands ideal is. So it's like you in your most idealistic form, right? Like you in full on creation power mode, like creation master mode, right? Like this is the end goal. And it's like the inspiration, like the happy feeling that you get is the thought of like, God damn it, son of a gun. In March, I'm going to be acting as this person. I'm going to be them. I'm going to be walking on that path of my very personal ideal king of wands, in a sense. So that gives you motivation to unearth these conflicts and looking back at every roadblock you've ever felt. Like over the last 10 years, in what areas of my life have I felt the absolute most blocked, right? Or in what years did I feel like somebody stepped in my way? You know what I mean? And being able to tangibly look at that and then align it with what the collective dealt with energetically that year. So you can feel a sense of resonance. You know what I mean? So that's a very tangible way that I can see this. But I mean, for those of you who aren't doing that process, I feel either way, because it's not like that's absolutely necessary to do it through the woke book. It's like I feel spirit is still going to bring this to the forefront either way. It's going to be very, very clear to you. I'm looking for my surrender deck, y'all. Oh, ask a yes or no question. Sorry. Is that it? Dagnabbit? No, it's not. I don't know where my surrender deck is. I just really feel like I need to, oh, it's on the other side of the room. Boo. Okay. Let's see. We have Aries. We have question mark. So that means it could be sun, moon, rising, or Venus. We have crush. We have Capricorn, and we have no. So some of y'all might have Capricorn in y'all chart. I'm just saying, because Capricorn got unbound too. Or you might just want to watch Capricorn reading. So Aries, it could be sun, moon, rising, or Venus, crush, no, and Capricorn. And now we are going to throw the dice that have no name. I hope this made sense, y'all. Whoa. We have the number one. How appropriate, the Magician. We have Sun, and then we have Gemini. Gemini. All right, let's see hither. Sun. We have Father. We have Masculine Principle, the Hermetic Principle, the Law of Polarity. You are infinite. Self-mastery. Just saying. Start working on strengthening the weak points of your sun sign. So to do that, so whether you are a Cancer, you are a Pisces, or you are a Scorpio, you can simply just Google like weaknesses of Cancer, weaknesses of Pisces, weaknesses of Scorpio. And that's a very simplistic way to start working on personal development. Because the whole thing is when we're talking about being in a sense of mastery, right? Like the King of Wands it's a person who is mastered, right? All of the kings are. It's like we want to look at what our shortcomings are. Like, what are the things that are tripping us up, right? Is it, do I have issues with my anger? Is it that I doubt myself? Whatever. Those are more specific to the individual. But if you're not sure what your weak points are, you can simply start with your triggers, or you can start with just simply looking at your zodiac sign. It's like looking at what the weaknesses of Scorpio are. And if you resonate with it, like when you read them and you're like, oh, wow, I do that. It's doing the work to start strengthening that weakness into strengthening. I don't know how else to say it. Strengthening that weakness, this is going to be redundant, into a strength, right? So it's kind of like going to the gym and working your muscles. You know what I mean? It's like you have to have that level of resistance. So if you have trouble with expressing your emotions, it's challenging yourself to start expressing. You know what I mean? So that's an easy way to start working on different areas of your personhood. And then for those of you who, are, personal development masters, you look at your triggers, you look at the things that are coming up in your dream space, look at the things that come up during the full moon, looking at, like if you watch because y'all know I'm not an astrologer. If you look at some of the astrologers that they have on YouTube, and look at videos of what they're talking about for the full moon in Leo to get like a full grasp, because the astrologers will go into how this particular, moon and a bunch of other transits, how it specifically affects like each sign, like with your rising and stuff like that. So if you want to go in depth in that regard, or, just simply looking at things that you're consciously aware of that you know that your weaknesses are, and just making a point this month to start working on those things, right? So with the number one, your major arcana to meditate on for the month is the Magician. And that says beginnings, the first cause, strength and self-reliance, opening and awakening the self, personal identity, individuality, and unity, two sides of one coin. This is fascinating. Couple of reasons why. One of them, and y'all, I don't know. Those of you who have the woke book, I'm going out on a limb here because as I was reading that, I was hearing something that I had wrote down. But dang it. I can't remember what year it is. I don't know if it's the 10-1 year. I don't know if it's the 10-1 year. Or if this is, I don't think it was the 8 year. It might be the 9 year. Those of you who have the woke book, look at that. Because I go into this in depth where I'm talking about, like I go in depth into like identity and things of the sort. So you guys look at that year because I feel like there's something there. And the other side of that is this Gemini energy. And that's making me think about something I talked about in 2019 on the channel where I was talking about Gemini energy. And I was talking about like how this is two sides of one coin. It's like, and I'm a Gemini rising. That's not necessarily relevant, but how I understand it is that with Gemini energy, it's having like two faces, but not in a two-faced kind of way. But it's like how most people describe it as like good twin, evil twin, right? But it's feeling as if you have to choose one or the other, right? And that's not the case, right? It's just the simple fact that everything in life is on a Likert scale and there's different extremes of the same thing. They're not opposites, right? It's not like good twin, evil twin. It's the twins and they manifest differently at different ranges at different times for different reasons. So it's more or less the awakening comes in the realization that it was never about choosing one or the other. It's just that the ideal space again, this may be a 3 year, I'm not sure. I'm gonna find out and let y'all know, but it's the birthing of the middle way. And that's everything I talk about in 2019 in the book. So it's not about choosing one or the other. It's about the birthing or the transfiguration, so to speak, of two becoming one, if that's making sense, right? So I talked about with another sign about the primordial egg and the cracking of this egg. So that's what we're really talking about here for water signs, is it's not about, you know, a new way or the old way or anything of the sort. It's like transfiguration is a complete shift. It's the spiritual alchemy of an individual into an entire another form, like the metamorphosis of a butterfly, so to speak. And it's you transmuting into another form of yourself, not by choosing one way or the other, but it's like going the middle way, which is an integration of two seemingly opposing things into one, which would be a new way of being, if that's making sense. I hope that makes sense. So let's go ahead and pull you guys cards for the extended. I'm gonna start with my Cancerians. So Cancer, first card that we have is the 3 of Wands. Then we have the 7 of Cups in the reverse. Then we have Judgment. And then we have the Ace of Swords in the reverse. For my Pisces, we have the 7 of Pentacles. Then we have the Ace of Pentacles. We have the King of Pentacles in the reverse. And we have the 8 of Pentacles. And for Scorpio, we have the 6 of Pentacles. A lot of Pentacles y'all got going on here. We have the Page of Swords. We have the 10 of Cups in the reverse. And then we have the Knight of Wands. Interesting. And then we have your hidden aspects as well as hidden enemies. Cancer. We have Insta-famous. Fascinating. Whoa, Jesus. For Pisces, we have the Ghoster. Fascinating. And for Scorpio, I don't want it to come out. For Scorpio, we have the Side Hustler. Okay. And then we're going to pull one card for each of you from the Dark Mirror Oracle. And again, in the extendeds on Vimeo, guys, it's not collective. It's each of the signs individually. So Cancer has their own video, Pisces has their own video, and Scorpio has their own video. So for Cancer, we have anger and chains. We did talk about chains now. All right. And for Pisces, whoa. Pisces, I do not believe all three of them cards are for you. All right, there we go. Pisces, we have envious gluttony. And for Scorpio, whoa, okay. Scorpio, we have addicted. So we're going to get into this and you guys extended. So I'm going over to Vimeo. If you're about that life, follow me on over there. And I have a new option now where you can become a member of the channel. There should be like a join button down there somewhere. But you guys can check that out because I pretty much mirrored the options I have over there on Patreon here. And I just added a new tier for live. So if you guys want to watch unlimited extendeds, go ahead and join that or join over on Patreon. But I'm going over to Vimeo. So if you're about that life, follow me over there. If not, I still love your freaking face. And I will see you guys sooner than later. Deuces.